Welcome, fellow adventurers. Ever dream of stepping into a real-life postcard where nature paints masterpieces of awe and wonder? We're whisking you away to Europe's untamed heart, a realm of majestic natural wonders, gloriously pristine and untouched, ready to redefine your perception of beauty. From the dramatic peaks of the Dolomites to the serene canals of Giethoorn, and from the iconic Matterhorn to the enchanting Black Forest, Europe's wild side is calling. We'll plunge into Iceland's Blue Lagoon, marvel at Plitvice Lakes, stand on thrilling Trolltunga, and venture into the otherworldly Eisrieswald Ice Cave. Are you ready to witness the unparalleled grandeur of untouched Europe? Venture into a world where ancient silence lingers between windswept peaks and sagebrush plains. This is not a desert of sand, but stone, solitude, and startling beauty. This is a Great Basin Desert, a realm often overlooked, yet holding some of the most profound and raw natural wonders in North America. Sparkles, it's not the emptiness that defines a Great Basin, it's the quiet richness hidden within its vast stillness. Spanning nearly 500,000 square kilometers across Nevada, Utah, Oregon, and California, the Great Basin Desert is the largest desert in the United States by area. Unlike its sand-covered cousins, this desert was a crown of mountains and cloaks of sage, its wide basins bordered by sharp, snow-dusted ranges. It's not just dry, it's deeply alive, shaped not only by aridity but by isolation. The Great Basin is a land of paradoxes. Summer temperatures can climb above 38 degrees Celsius, yet winters bring snow and bone-deep cold. Here, rainfall is scarce, but the desert is dotted with hidden springs, seasonal lakes, and ancient playas that whisper wetter times. Within this desert lies one of the world's oldest living organisms, the bristlecone pine. These gnarled trees have stood against wind and frost for over 4,000 years, their twisted trunks bearing silent witness to millennia. To see one is to feel the weight of deep time. And the landscapes. Oh, the landscapes. Picture wide salt flats that shimmer under a blazing sun, mountain valleys carpeted with wildflowers after rare rains, and rock formations sculpted by erosion into cathedrals of silence. There are vast lava fields, fossil beds, and canyons that seem forgotten by time. In places like Great Basin National Park, Lehman Caves lie hidden beneath the earth, an underground world of delicate stalactites and shadow chambers formed drip by drip over eons. Above ground, the park offers some of the darkest night skies in America. The Milky Way here doesn't just shine, it blazes. The desert's wildlife is as tough and tenacious as the land itself. Mule deer navigate steep ridges. Coyotes call into twilight. Kangaroo rats survive without ever drinking water, extracting moisture from the seeds they eat. And above it all, golden eagles soar across thermals that rise from the sun-scorched land. The Great Basin is also a cultural landscape. The Shoshone and Paiute peoples have lived here for thousands of years, their histories etched into rock art, oral traditions, and sacred spaces. To wander this land is to step through layers of both human and geologic time. But like many deserts, this region is not untouched by change. Rising temperatures, water scarcity, and mining activity threaten its fragile balance. Ancient aquifers are being drained and ecosystems strained. The desert is speaking, but are we listening? And so, the Great Basin Desert stands as both marvel and message, a place where the planet's quiet power is revealed not in roaring waterfalls or towering cliffs, but in stillness and endurance. To know this place is to shift your perception of beauty. It's not flashy, it doesn't beg for your attention, but for those who stop, look, and truly listen, it offers a sense of awe few other places can match. So we ask, what happens when you find the extraordinary not in excess, but in essence? What does a whispering landscape teach us about strength, about grace, about the meaning of wilderness? Perhaps, in a world so full of noise, the Great Basin is exactly the kind of silence we need to hear. This is the Great Basin Desert, rugged, resilient, and utterly remarkable. Now, we leave behind the sunburnt silence of the American West and journey across the Atlantic, to a land where jagged peaks meet soft alpine meadows, and every sunrise paints stone in gold. Welcome to the Dolomites, Italy's dramatic mountain jewel, and one of Europe's most breathtaking natural wonders. Rising like petrified waves from the northern reaches of Italy, the Dolomites are UNESCO World Heritage Site, a staggering display of nature's artistry, born from ancient seas and shaped by time, wind, and ice. Unlike any other mountain range in the world, their pale, jagged silhouettes stretch toward the heavens, casting ever-changing shadows over lush green valleys and crystal-clear lakes. Here, nature isn't just seen, it's felt. It's in the crisp morning air that sweeps down from the cliffs, the distant echo of cowbells across the hills, and the soft crunch of gravel beneath hiking boots. From the iconic peaks of Tre Cime di Lavridu to the vertical cliffs of Marmolada, the Dolomites offer more than just scenery, they offer scale. A cathedral of stone where every ridge tells a geological story, and every path leads deeper into quiet awe. But the Dolomites are not simply a summer paradise for hikers and climbers. In winter, they transform into a wonderland, snow-capped and serene, where world-class ski slopes glide through forests and beneath limestone towers dusted in white. For centuries, these mountains have inspired painters, poets, and pilgrims. And today, they remain a place where modern life slows down and nature's rhythm takes over. The villages here are like something from a fairy tale. Wooden chalets nestled into hillsides, church steeples reaching toward the sky, and traditions rooted in centuries of alpine life. Local Ladine culture still thrives, with its unique language, food, and customs offering a rare glimpse into a preserved world. In the Dolomites, time moves differently. Days begin with the alpenglow, a soft pink light that kisses the peaks, and end with silence under starlit skies so clear you can see the curve of the galaxy. There are lakes like Lago di Braies, with waters as clear as glass, and meadows like Alpe d'Huez, Europe's largest alpine plateau, where wildflowers bloom beneath towering stone guardians. But perhaps the most powerful part of the Dolomites is how they make you feel. Small, yet somehow deeply connected to the world. To walk here is to be reminded that the planet is vast, mysterious, and magnificent. As we explore the Dolomites over the next chapters, prepare for more than a tour. Prepare for revelation. Because in these mountains, beauty doesn't just surround you, it transforms you. And just when you think you've seen it all, the Dolomites surprise you again. A sudden mist rolls over the valleys, revealing only silhouettes of peaks, like nature pulling a veil across its masterpiece. Or a quiet hike leads you to a hidden chapel, perched on a ledge, where a candle flickers beside flowers placed by someone whose name you'll never know. The Dolomites are filled with stories waiting to be uncovered. They are mountains that demand respect, that offer peace, and that remind us to be present, to look, to breathe. Whether you're here for the climb, the calm, or the culture, this place speaks in a language older than words. It tells of ancient earth movements, of glaciers now gone, of people who carved lives from the rock. So as you wander their trails, listen closely. The Dolomites aren't just a destination. They're a dialogue between the world and your sense of wonder. Welcome to Giethoorn, the fairy tale village of the Netherlands, often called the Venice of the North. But Giethoorn is quieter than Venice, gentler, more intimate. It's not grand palazzos or marble piazzas. It's wooden footbridges, curved over still water. It's narrow waterways lined with willows and hydrangeas. It's the creak of a vintage rowboat gliding past homes that seem lifted from a children's storybook. Located in the province of Overijssel, in the heart of the Dutch countryside, Giethoorn has remained largely untouched by modern chaos. No high-rises, no highways, just a delicate network of canals. Over 90 kilometers of them, where life floats rather than rushes. And here's the magic. The village was never designed to be a tourist attraction. Its charm wasn't crafted. It was born, hundreds of years ago, by peat farmers who dug the land and created the canals we now drift through. Today, Giethoorn is a sanctuary, not just for those seeking beauty, but for those seeking quiet. In spring, the village comes alive with color. Pink cherry blossoms leaning over the water, green ivy curling around cottage walls, and flowers blooming in bursts of yellow, violet, and crimson. Every corner feels like a postcard. Every footpath a painting in motion. You'll see locals tending their gardens, sipping coffee beside wooden docks, waving to passing boats like neighbors in a town suspended between earth and dream. And yes, the silence is real. Cars are parked at the edge of town. Inside, you travel by boat, bike, or foot. It's not just a choice, it's a philosophy. Life here flows, it doesn't rush. Conversations linger longer. Meals stretch into the golden hours. And the soft lapping of water becomes a lullaby for the soul. The village's most iconic features are its more than 170 wooden bridges, each a gentle arch across a narrow canal. Some are draped in vines. Others are framed by flower beds. All are simple, elegant, and human-sized, made not to dominate the landscape, but to live within it. But there's more to Giethoorn than just its looks. There's a museum Giethoorn, T Old Mat Use, where you can step into a 19th century farmhouse and see how life once unfolded in this peat cutter's village. Or the De Oud Art, a museum showcasing rare gems, crystals, and fossils. Reminders that even the stillest places hold deep layers of time and wonder. And then there's the experience of simply drifting. Rent a whisper boat, named for its silent electric motor, and let yourself be guided by water. Pass under bridges, alongside reeds that dance in the breeze, beneath cottages where cats nap in windows and ducks drift in the shade. Watch the reflections ripple. Hear nothing but nature. This is what peace sounds like. As the sun begins to set, the entire village transforms. The canals mirror the sky, and the warm glow of golden hour kisses every rooftop and every leaf. Candlelit dinners begin on terraces by the water, and fairy lights sparkle under the bridges. The stillness becomes sacred. But Giethoorn isn't just a beautiful destination, it's a lesson in simplicity, in patience, in presence. It reminds us that joy doesn't always come from grandeur. Sometimes, it comes from a gentle ride to quiet, from a smile exchanged across the water, from noticing the way a shadow moves across a reed. And though this village sees thousands of visitors every year, its heart remains humble. The people here live not for spectacle, but for simplicity. Many have been here their whole lives. Their rhythms follow the water. Their stories ripple out quietly, like the wake of a boat. Stay with us as our journey continues, because in the most unexpected corners of the world, quiet miracles are waiting. Now, after floating through the gentle canals of Giethoorn, where time pauses and silence speaks, it's time to take a dramatic turn. From soft meadows and whispering waters, we rise, sharply, breathtakingly, into the high heart of the Alps. Brace yourself, Because this isn't just another mountain. This is the Matterhorn, an icon of the Earth itself. A peak so fierce, so perfect in shape, it feels more like a symbol than a stone. A dream carved in granite. A monument born from fire, ice, and time. Small Blue Diamond, this is not a mountain you simply see. This is a mountain that stares back. Rising 4,478 meters, 14,692 feet, above sea level, the Matterhorn sits on the border between Switzerland and Italy. Its pyramidal silhouette has inspired explorers, artists, and adventurers for generations. And once you see it, really see it, you'll understand why. The Matterhorn isn't just tall, it's striking. Unlike any other peak in the Alps, it stands alone. Its four steep faces piercing the sky like a celestial compass. It's a mountain that doesn't blend into the landscape, it defines it. And surrounding this mighty icon is a region of unmatched alpine beauty, the Valley of Zermatt. Let's start there. Zermatt, gateway to the Matterhorn. Nestled beneath the Matterhorn's towering gaze is the car-free town of Zermatt, a charming mountain village where wooden chalets lean into cobble lanes and the air smells like pine and snow. Here, no engines rumble. Only electric taxis hum. Horse-drawn carriages still trot the streets. The soundscape is birdsong, boot steps, and mountain breeze. As you walk through the town, you'll notice something. Every window, every shop sign, every cafe terrace seems to offer a perfect view of the peak. It's as if the Matterhorn watches over everything, timeless, majestic, and unmoved. But the Matterhorn isn't just a backdrop, it's an experience. And to feel it, you need to go higher, climbing the heights without climbing the peak. For those who don't seek the summit but still crave the altitude, Zermatt offers cable cars and cogwheel trains that lift you into the clouds. Take the Gornergrat Railway, Europe's highest open-air railway. As the train climbs, the landscape transforms. Forest gives way to glacier, rock gives way to sky. And then, it happens. The Matterhorn appears in full. No trees, no buildings, just peak, ice, and endless sky. From the Gornergrat platform, you're standing at 3,089 meters, looking out over a panorama that includes 29 alpine peaks over 4,000 meters. It's a horizon lined with giants. You'll feel it in your chest, the silence, the scale, the sense of standing on the edge of something eternal. But don't stop there. Glacier Paradise, a world of ice. Take the Matterhorn Glacier Paradise lift, the highest cable car station in Europe. Here, you'll reach 3,883 meters above sea level. That's higher than most clouds. The air is thin. The views are endless. In the Ice Palace, carved tunnels lead through ancient glacial walls, crystal blue, lit softly from within. Walk beneath centuries-old ice. Feel the cold seeping through your boots and understand that you are inside time itself. Outside, the snow park glistens. Even in summer, you can ski, snowboard, or just walk across this icy realm that feels more like another planet than another peak. Legends and legacy. But the Matterhorn is more than beauty. It's history. The first ascent was in 1865, a triumph shadowed by tragedy. 7 climbers reached the summit, but only 3 returned. The others fell to their deaths during the descent. That rope, the very rope that snapped, is on display in the Matterhorn Museum in Zermatt. Frayed, silent, telling its story without a single word. That moment, that climb, changed mountaineering forever. It turned the Matterhorn into legend, and Zermatt into a place where adventurers still test their limits. Today, hundreds attempt the ascent every year, and while the mountain is better understood, it is never truly tamed, because the Matterhorn demands respect. Its slopes are sharp, its weather wild. It doesn't care about your experience, your gear, or your ambition. It cares only that you approach with reverence. Seasons of the Matterhorn. In summer, the mountain is framed by meadows bursting with wildflowers. You'll find alpine trails winding through forests, past waterfalls, and up into air so crisp it stings your lungs. Marmots scurry. Ibex stand proudly on ridges. In autumn, the larches turn golden. The mountain seems closer, crisper, its face etched with early frost. Fewer visitors, more silence, a time for reflection. In winter, the Matterhorn reigns in white. Zermatt becomes one of the world's premier ski resorts, with over 360 kilometers of runs. Slopes sweep beneath the peak, and après-ski lounges glow with warmth and laughter. And in spring, the thaw begins. Rivers swell, birds return. The mountain shakes off its slumber, but never its majesty. Matterhorn moments, the little things that take your breath away. Sometimes, the most unforgettable moments happen when you're not even trying. A sudden halo of clouds framing the peak at sunrise. The way the moon rests on its shoulder like a secret. A quiet bench on a mountain path where you realize there's nowhere else you'd rather be. You might not remember every trail, but you'll remember the way you felt. You remember how small, and yet how infinite, the world seemed from up here. A mountain that lives in memory. Long after you've left, the Matterhorn lingers. It stays with you, not as a place, but as a feeling. That quiet awe, that breath caught in your throat, that moment when time paused and you knew, truly knew, that you were standing in the presence of something greater than yourself. Coming next, as we leave the granite guardians of the Swiss Alps, our journey continues. From towering peaks to ancient forests, from quiet villages to vibrant cities, the world is wide and waiting. And sometimes, the path between the most beautiful places is the most beautiful part of all. From the mist-covered woods of Germany's Black Forest, where legends whisper through pine and shadow, we now take a turn skyward, up into the very bones of the Alps, where one mountain reigns above myth and memory alike. This is not just a mountain. This is the Matterhorn, a crown of stone, a sentinel of silence, and one of the most instantly recognizable peaks in the world. Sunrise over mountains, it doesn't rise from the land. It emerges from your imagination. Standing at 4,478 meters, 14,692 feet, the Matterhorn dominates the skyline between Switzerland and Italy, its four faces pointing toward the compass as if guiding travelers from all corners of the world. Its sharp, symmetrical pyramid shape is so iconic, it seems almost too perfect to be real. And yet, there it stands, eternal, defiant, and utterly breathtaking. But to understand a Matterhorn, you don't begin at the summit. You begin in the valley, where life flows gently beneath the weight of greatness. Snow-capped Mountain Zermatt, the village at the mountain's feet. Cradled at the foot of the Matterhorn lies Zermatt, a picturesque village that feels both timeless and otherworldly. There are no gas-powered cars here, only the software electric taxis and a clip-clop of horse-drawn carriages on cobblestone streets. The air smells of alpine with smoke and mountain wildflowers. Zermatt isn't just a destination. It's a rhythm, a slower, softer way of moving through the world. As you walk through the town's winding alleys, the Matterhorn peeks from behind rooftops, ever present, always watching. Every window seems to frame it like a painting, and every path eventually leads toward it. Mountain cableway into the sky, climbing without climbing. Even if you're not a mountaineer, the Alps are inviting. Hop aboard the Gornergrat Railway, Europe's highest open-air cogwheel train. In just 30 minutes, you'll ascend over 3,000 meters, passing pine forests, glacial valleys, and perhaps a curious marmot or two peeking from the rocks. Then, the train rounds a bend, and suddenly there it is, the Matterhorn, in full, unobstructed, towering, sharp. It doesn't feel like you're looking at a mountain. It feels like you're being stared at by the Earth itself. Snowflake, Matterhorn Glacier Paradise. For the true high-altitude experience, continue to the Matterhorn Glacier Paradise, accessible by a series of cable cars that lift you all the way to 3,883 meters, the highest cable car station in Europe. From here, you see not just a Matterhorn, but 38 other peaks rising above 4,000 meters and 14 glaciers stretching across the horizon. The air is thin, crisp, and still. Inside the Glacier Palace, tunnels carved through solid ice invite you into a frozen underworld. You walk through time, past glowing walls of blue ice, beneath ceilings that stood unmelted for centuries. The silence here is heavy, sacred. Outside, the snow sparkles even in July. You can ski, you can snowshoe, you can just stand there, stunned by the stillness. Scroll the history, a triumph and a tragedy. The Matterhorn wasn't always a place of peaceful wonder. In 1865, British climber Edward Whymper led the first successful ascent. But what began as triumph ended in disaster. During the descent, a rope snapped, for climbers fell to their deaths. That rope, frayed and silent, now sits in Zermatt's Matterhorn Museum as a solemn reminder that this mountain is not a playground. It is a force. This tragic first climb etched the Matterhorn into history and into legend. Since then, countless have followed. Some made it, others didn't. Even today, the Matterhorn remains one of the most challenging climbs in Europe. Beautiful, yes, but never tame. Blossom seasons of the Matterhorn. The Matterhorn changes with the seasons, each one telling a different story. In spring, the meadows near Zermatt come alive with alpine blooms, violets, edelweiss, and wild thyme. Meltwater tumbles down from the glaciers, and the air is filled with birdsong. In summer, hikers lace up their boots and take to the trails. From the 5 lakes walk to the Hornley Hut, the Matterhorn watches over them all, regal in the warm glow of long alpine days. In autumn, the large trees burn golden against the blue sky. The tourists thin, and a hush settles over the valley. It's a time for introspection, for walks taken slowly and thoughts that run deep. And in winter, Zermatt becomes a snow globe, one of the best ski resorts in the world. With over 360 kilometers apiece, Zermatt offers alpine luxury and adrenaline in equal measure, all under the watchful eye of the Matterhorn. Eco life in the shadow of a giant. Despite its extremes, the area around the Matterhorn is full of life. You might spot ibex bouncing effortlessly on steep rock faces, or chamois bounding across snowy slopes. Above, golden eagles ride the thermals, and in the woods, red deer graze in quiet herds. And, of course, marmots, those chubby little mountaineers, whistle from their burrows, warning one another of visitors. Even here, where the cold can kill and the wind can strip trees bare, life persists, grows, thrives. Church stories in stone and silence. There's something else that thrives in the presence of the Matterhorn: reflection. Along the trails, you'll find small chapels built by hands long gone. Some are perched on lonely ridges, candles flickering in the draft. Others sit beside alpine lakes, mirrored perfectly in the water's glassy surface. Their place is not just a prayer, but a perspective. Because standing here, beneath this ancient pyramid of stone, you feel it. That deep, resonant stillness. The kind of silence that isn't empty, but full of the weight of the earth, of time, of meaning. Artist Palette Matterhorn in art and culture. The Matterhorn is not just admired, it's been immortalized. It's inspired painters, photographers, poets, and even chocolate makers. Yes, the triangular shape of Toblerone is famously said to have been inspired by the Matterhorn. Its shape has become a symbol, not just of Switzerland, but of what the natural world can create when left alone. To capture it on canvas is nearly impossible. To describe it fully in words, even harder. But to stand in its presence? That is something you never forget. Compass what the Matterhorn teaches us. More than just a place, the Matterhorn is a lesson. In patience, because its story spans millions of years. In humility, because no one can conquer without respect. In awe, because some things are greater than understanding. And maybe that's what draws people here, year after year. Not just a chance to explore, but the chance to feel small, to reconnect with something beyond ourselves. Because the Matterhorn doesn't change for us. It doesn't bow to cameras or crowds. It simply is. And that, in a world so full of noise, is a rare and beautiful thing. As we leave behind the shimmering turquoise waters and cascading terraces of Plitvice lakes, the air begins to change. It thickens, it cools, and it carries with a scent, not of salt or sun, but of pine, moss, and ancient earth. We are now venturing into a land where fairy tales were born, where mist lingers even in sunlight, and where the forest is not just a setting, but a character. Welcome to the Black Forest, or as the Germans call it, the Schwarzwald, evergreen tree. It is not the darkness that defines the Black Forest. It's the light that finds its way through. A forest of legends and shadows. The Black Forest is located in southwestern Germany, stretching over 6,000 square kilometers across the Baden-Württemberg region. But it's not the size that captures you, it's the atmosphere. This is a place where forests are dense, paths are winding, and the trees stand like sentinels, tall and quiet. The forest is so thick in some parts. Sunlight barely reaches the moss-covered floor, creating a natural hush that feels both comforting and uncanny. It's no wonder this land inspired the Brothers Grimm. From Hansel and Gretel to Little Red Riding Hood, the Black Forest gave form to stories told around firelight, of witches in cottages, wolves behind trees, and magic hidden in plain sight. But don't worry, this is a forest that welcomes wanderers. Man-walking trails that tell stories. The best way to understand the Black Forest is on foot. There are over 23,000 kilometers of marked trails, each with its own mood. Some climb steep ridgelines with sweeping views over valleys below. Others snake through silent glades, where you might spot a roe deer or hear the flap of a raven's wings. One of the most famous is the Schluchtensteig Trail, a 6-day journey through gorges, meadows, and cliffside paths. But even a simple hour-long stroll near a village like Triberg or Feldberg will reward you with scenery so vivid it feels painted. Every path feels like a portal, to solitude, to stillness, or perhaps to something older than memory. Sweat droplets, waterfalls, and wonder. Water is a constant companion here. The Triberg waterfalls, some of the tallest in Germany, cascade in 7 stages, surrounded by black fir trees that seem to bow toward the mist. The sound of falling water is thunderous and soothing all at once. Elsewhere, smaller streams tumble over mossy stones, or pool in glacial lakes like Titusee and Schlutzsee, where the reflections are so clear, the line between world and sky disappears. These waters nourish the forest, but they also reflect it, offering a mirror not just of nature, but of ourselves. Mantelpiece clock, cuckoo clocks, and craftsmanship. The Black Forest is not just a wild place, it's also home. Villages here seem to emerge in the landscape, with half-timbered houses, flower-draped balconies, and with smoke curling into the air. Towns like Freiburg, Bayersbronn, and St. Martin balance rustic charm with timeless beauty. This is the birthplace of the cuckoo clock, a symbol of German precision and whimsy. In workshops scattered across the forest, artisans carve intricate designs, each tick and tock echoing the rhythm of the woods. Craftsmanship runs deep here, not just in clocks, but in everything from wood carving to schnapps making, passed down through generations. Woman-made magic, myth, and memory. The Black Forest is a landscape laden with legend. Locals speak of the Hexenloch, which is whole, a shadowed valley where folklore whispers of spells and spirits. Some trails are marked not just with arrows, but with tales of lost children, hidden gold, or forest guardians unseen. Atop Hornisgrind, the highest peak, the wind tells stories. Below, in the Mummelsee Lake, legend says a water spirit lives, a nymph who lures the curious into the depths. After standing on the edge of Troll Tunga, high above the fjords, where mountains carve the sky and silence speaks louder than words, you might think you've seen all that nature has to offer. But now we descend, not in spirit, but into a realm where water reigns and color defies imagination. We leave behind Norway's craggy cliffs and travel southeast, to a place where rivers fall like lace, where turquoise pools mirror the forest, and where each step takes you deeper into a fairy tale you didn't know existed. Welcome to Plitvice Lakes, a symphony of waterfalls, color, and wild stillness nestled in the heart of Croatia. If water could dream, this is where it would awaken. Droplet, a living labyrinth of lakes. Plitvice Lakes National Park is not just Croatia's oldest national park. It's a masterpiece of nature, shaped by time, gravity, and the ceaseless energy of water. Covering nearly 300 square kilometers, the park is home to 16 cascading lakes, flowing into one another through over 90 waterfalls. But these aren't just any waterfalls. They're ethereal, some hidden behind veils of moss, others thundering like distant drums in a cathedral forest. The lakes themselves shift in hue, turquoise, sapphire, emerald, even silver, changing with the light, the minerals, the seasons. It's like walking through a painting that's never finished and never the same twice. Evergreen tree trails through time. Plitvice doesn't just invite you in, it guides you gently through its beauty. The wooden boardwalks curve the land, hovering just above crystal clear waters. Fish dart beneath your feet. Dragonflies hover. And around every corner, a new waterfall greets you. Some no bigger than a whisper, others loud enough to silence your thoughts. These pathways lead you not just through space, but through sensation. The rush of a distant cascade, the cool mist on your skin, the smell of wet leaves and limestone. Here, walking is meditation. There are 4 hiking routes and several loops to choose from, some short and family-friendly, others long and winding, offering quiet corners and epic viewpoints. But wherever you go, the message is clear. Slow down. Notice. Feel. Leaf fluttering inland waters, eternal dance. What makes Plitvice so unique isn't just its beauty, it's its geology. These lakes exist because of something called tufa, a porous rock formed from calcium carbonate deposits left behind by flowing water. After journeying deep into the frozen heart of Austria's Eichsiebenwald ice cave, where silence crystallizes and time slows among walls of ancient ice, we emerge blinking into the light, changed. But the adventure is far from over. From the depth below the earth, we now rise, high above the world, to a place where the air is thinner, the sky wider, and the earth itself dares to defy gravity. Welcome to Troll Tunga, Norway's dramatic cliff tongue, where stone stretches its arm into empty space, and the brave lean over a void that humbles the soul. Sunrise over mountains, this isn't just a hike. It's a pilgrimage to the edge of wonder. National Park, what is Troll Tunga? Troll Tunga, literally Troll's Tongue, is one of the most iconic natural landmarks in Norway, and perhaps in the world. A rock ledge jutting out from a vertical cliff nearly 1,100 meters above Lake Ringedalsvatnet. It seems to defy logic and gravity alike. But it's not just a formation that stirs the soul, it's everything around it. Glacial valleys carved over millennia, snow-dusted peaks, icy rivers rushing through untouched tundra. This is the raw north, the Norway of myth and muscle, where every stone seems to carry a secret. Hiking boot the journey to the edge. To reach Troll Tunga, there is no shortcut, no cable car, no drive-up viewpoint. You must earn it through a challenging hike that's part endurance, part meditation. Depending on your starting point, the trek can take 8 to 12 hours round trip, covering up to 28 kilometers of rugged terrain. It begins in the village of Skjeggedal, ascending steep hills, crossing marshy plateaus, and winding through rock-strewn wilderness. At first, it's demanding, then hypnotic. You fall into rhythm with your breath, your steps, the crunch of earth beneath your boots. As you rise higher, the world quiets. Forest gives way to stone. The horizon opens. The wind speaks. And suddenly, you're walking not on land, but on a threshold between earth and sky. Wind face nature on a grand scale. The scenery along the way is nothing short of cinematic. Lakes that mirror the sky, patches of snow in summer, herds of wild reindeer in the distance. Every pause offers a moment of awe. You pass waterfalls tumbling down sheer cliffs and see clouds roll in below your feet, turning valleys into oceans of mist.